Hello everybody, welcome back to Puzzle & Dragons. Today's a special day because it's the first time Ra is obtainable in North America, so I thought it'd be really cool to do an analysis on Ra. We'll first talk about the mythology behind Ra. I'll analyze Awoken Ra and the Ra Dragon. I'll follow that up with a few tips on how to play Ra, because his leader skill can be quite complicated. And we'll finish that off with my very own purchase of the Ra Dragon. I will max level this guy and feed all my shine peas to it, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to tell you the story in front of the camera. So Ra is the Egyptian god of the sun. He is often considered the god of everything and the creator of everything. This includes the sky, the earth, and the underworld. And there are so many myths behind Ra. There's no real solid myths, but there are a few popular ones related to some of the characters or the cards that we know in Puzzle & Dragons. So Ra has two children that we know of in Puzzle & Dragons. One of them is Hathor. So in the beginning, when the world was created, everything was perfect. And the scene was so beautiful for Ra that he cried. And from these tears, humans were born. And over time, these humans would backstab Ra. And so from Ra's right eye, Hathor was born. And she started killing humans in some lioness form. So over time, Ra was worried about the extinction of the human race. So I'm not making this up. He mixes beer with red dye and then feeds it to Hathor, tricks Hathor into drinking it. And then she becomes so drunk that she forgets about killing humans and then becomes the happy goddess. She's the goddess of joy, love, dance, and fertility. So that's the story behind Hathor. It's kind of crazy. And the second child that we know of Ra is Bastet. So the story behind Bastet is that Ra created the goddess of the sky, Nut, and he would sail across Nut every single day. And in the nighttime, he would go and sail or go into the underworld, and he would be reborn into the sky again, sailing across Nut. So every morning before Ra would sail across the sky, Bastet would fight this snake called Apep, A-P-E-P, Apep. And this battle would last for days, right? And eventually, Bastet kills Apep. And then Bastet is set free to roam, and she becomes the guardian of home and hearth. So there are so many myths behind Ra, but these are the two coolest ones that are related to the Puzzle Dragons universe. So let's start by analyzing the cards next. We'll do it real quick. Currently in Puzzle & Dragons, there are two Ras that you'll often run into. The first one is Awoken Ra, and if you guys have been hanging out on my channel, I use Awoken Ra in some of the harder dungeons because to me he is an amazing leader card. He brings so much to the table. Let's talk about his leader skill. He has the Sun's Blood Tide, which means that if you match fire, water, wood, light, and dark, then you'll get a 25 multiplier with two Awoken Ra, with an Awoken Ra friend. And if you use an active the same turn, then you get a 100 multiplier. And when this card was released, it was blowing everybody's mind because the next best alternative at 100 multiplier would be Anubis. And you had to get at least a 10 combo for this. And boards in Puzzle & Dragons, they average about 6, 7, or 8 combos, or 7, 8, or 9 combos on average. It's very rare that you get a 10 combo guaranteed on a board. You have to rely on random matches falling from the sky, which we call skyfalls. And you know what? It's not very consistent in dungeons when you need to do damage. And that's why Ra is so great, because you can bring an orb changer, give yourselves fire, water, wood, light, and dark, like Light Kali, which is a great companion for Awoken Ra and very common as a Godfest exclusive, very popular. And because that's an active, you're guaranteed a 100 multiplier, and it's very hard. It was crazy to think that you can guarantee yourself a 100 multiplier. And dungeons these days, they don't require any more than a 100 multiplier to clear the whole dungeon. The next type of Ra that we'll run into is the Ra Dragon. Now, the Ra Dragon can be obtained for 300,000 monster points, and this card is considered by many to be the strongest leader card in the game because of how consistently you can handle the hardest dungeon in the game, which isn't Challenge 10 anymore. It is now Ultimate Arena, which is like 2 Challenge 10 dungeons put together, and at the end they slap on a boss with 30 million hit points. And this is a lot of hit points. So Ra, there's no better card to handle this dungeon than the Ra Dragon. His leader skill, if you match all 6 colors at once, then you do 144 times the damage. You can guarantee this activation by using Dark Kali, or you can use the new Fat Chocobo in North America, and you can bring on all kinds of damage. Not to mention he has great stats, amazing awakenings, he's unbindable, and you have an extra second. You have 2 time extended awakenings, which is really what you need if you want to match all 6 colors at the same time. So let's head on to the board, and I'll give you some tips on how to play not only the Ra Dragon, but also Pure Light Sun Deity Ra, Awoken Ra. We'll talk about some tricks that I use to play Ra if I don't have, all the time in the world to match the board. I'd like to remind you that playing Ra is very difficult, especially if you don't have the right subs. I'm going to give you these tips, but these tips won't, suddenly jump you a whole skill level. I wish I can give you those kinds of tips, but for that, it's just best to keep practicing. Right now we have Endless Corridors. It's once again a great dungeon to practice on because it doesn't require any stamina. And let's say you're used to using Metatron and Shiva Dragon. Those cards give you a hard multiplier. All you have to do is match fire orbs and you can do 20.25 times the damage. But when you want to do heavy damage with Ra, you have to match specific colors. And so I'm going to give you some tips that I use to use Ra with not the most optimal subs, especially if you don't have Kali or anybody to change orbs for you. So if we look on this map, we're missing wood orbs to do a multiplier. We really need fire, water, wood, light, and dark. We don't need hearts here. So when I want to generate myself some wood orbs, I actually save 2 of each element. Intuitively, you want to save 3 of each element, but I find that this isn't as effective because sometimes you don't get 2 wood drops. You want to get rid of as many orbs as on the board as possible. So I actually save 2 of each element. So for example, I want to generate some woods. Intuitively, I want to save, all these 3 lights. I want to save this light, but I would actually match, I would actually match this light, this light, this light, this light, and this light. I would get rid of all of those lights. I would save, 2 water orbs, and I'd get rid of the rest. I get rid of these water orbs. I'd save 2 fire orbs, and I'd get rid of these fire orbs. Doing so, I have a better chance of generating 3 wood orbs. The whole goal is to stall for 3 wood orbs, and if I don't have an orb changer, I actually, once again, save 2 of each element. So what I want to do is, I'm going to create a whole, I'm going to do this motion. I'm going to create a whole row of water orbs. I'm going to get rid of all the light orbs, and if I have extra time, I can probably bring this heart orb over here, but I don't have a lot of time, so let's try to stall this one out. Kind of like that. As you can see, it didn't take until 6 combos to generate those 2 light orbs, but we saved 2 of each element, and we managed to generate 3 wood orbs in such a little amount of time. We don't have a lot of time extended awakenings, and that's kind of how I stall for extra colors if I don't have an orb changer. The next tip I have for you is to plan out the board. It's so important to plan out the board when you're playing with Ra. And if you look at a lot of my newer videos, I use a tracer to tell you where I plan to go, right? It may look like spaghetti, but in my mind it makes sense. But when you play by yourself and you sit on a board and you think about it, it starts to click. It starts to come in. And let's say you're watching me play and you're like, hey Tyler, this is ridiculous. I don't move that fast. I can't see in advance that far. And you know what? It's just I don't have enough time for that. I don't have the right subs for that. I don't have like 10 seconds to match the whole board. So then my recommendation for you would be then to put orbs in a place where it would be easier for you to match out the board, or to match all the colors you need. So let's say we're looking at this board here, right? And it looks like purples are really far away from each other, and it doesn't look like it's very easy for us to match this. Well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to spend a turn to put orbs in the right spots, especially if you don't have enough time. So I need to put this purple orb closer to, you know, a few more purple orbs. I can grab this one and I can move it here to make it easy for me to match purples. Or I can take this purple orb and like move it here, but ideally I can put this purple orb next to this purple orb, or I can put purple next to this purple orb here, so we have a match of two. You have to set up the board in a way where it's easier for you to guarantee yourself raw activation, so you can do the damage that you need to do when you need it, because that's important for Puzzle and Dragons. If that makes any sense. I feel like I said a bunch of gibberish there. So what I'm gonna do is grab this purple orb and just move down here and put purple like right here. It just makes it so much easier for me to match purples on the next turn. Check this out. So I'm just gonna leave the lines there, but I only have 4 seconds to match orbs. Now I've stalled for a turn. It makes it so much easier for me to plan out the board. So at this point we have green, purple, red that are really close to each other, and then we have blue and yellow kind of up here that is really easy to match. So then we can take our time and plan out the board. Once again, this is a puzzle game, and there is no time limit to tackling this dungeon. You can sit here. What I used to do is just sit on my bed or on the train, and I would just look at this board and just try to figure out what path is optimal, and it helps me a lot to solve this board. But now I can do it in no time at all, just because I've been practicing so much. So it'd be great to move in one direction. I like to move from bottom to top, and so the way I see this board, we'll focus on matching green first. I'm going to pick up this blue and move up, right? And then I can match purples really easy if I move out. And at that point, reds are kind of sitting in this area. So then I'll focus on red next, and then I'll do yellow, and then blue. See, these paths are a lot more simple because we moved purple in a more convenient location. So I'll do the path first here. Looks like we need red and yellow. Look at that. Took no time at all. And we can get, a huge combo because everything was in a pretty convenient location. So that's the next tip I have for you. And I don't talk about these types of moves, but it's what's going on in my head when I'm playing Puzzle and Dragons with you guys. Finally, guys, I'd like to thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to my raw analysis. I hope whatever I said helped. But here, I hope you can join me in this great moment where I buy the raw dragon. I've been waiting for this guy for so long because I know that he's going to be a great addition to my list of teams that I play. So here we go. Purchase the raw dragon. Cha-ching. Oh, there goes like all my money. It hurts, but it feels so good at the same time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and max this guy out. Where does he sit? What is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, the chicken. The chicken of doom. Chicken von Doom. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see, I farmed for some jewel dragons. I think this guy surprisingly takes a lot of experience to level up. He takes, I think, 9 million or almost like 10 million experience to max level. So I have some Noel, or what are they called, snow globe dragons to evolve this. Oh my god. How many kings does it take to... Wait, does this guy... Oh, it goes up to 99. I don't have to get him to like level 50 to evolve. He just max evolves. Okay, so that's great. Here we go. I managed to farm Sopdet, Awoken Sopdet, nice. This guy, nice. Ah, here we go. Yeah, nerding out so hard. This is amazing. All right, nice. So, level 34, my sun god Ra dragon. I'm gonna feed him a jewel dragon or a snow globe dragon. I keep messing with those names. But I've been saving up so much stuff here. Check out all this stuff. Here we go, we have a snow globe dragon here. I'll add it to my list. Level 66. This thing is by itself gives me 3 million experience. I have a second one. 6 million. Let's begin fusion just in case I get a great. Wow, this guy takes a lot. 84. Another Noel dragon. 97. Okay, that's a little better. What? Oh, great! Yes! This will definitely put him at max level. Amazing, yeah. This guy takes 8 Tamadras, so many resources. But I've decided to use my +9 Tamadras. These guys are from the challenge dungeons. I think the plus eggs are more useful than the Tamadra itself. So this is on its way to 297ing the Ra dragon. So it might not be 297 immediately. Oh yeah. It's getting powerful by the second. There we go. How many more do I need? 3 more? Yep. We'll get that extra second of time extend. Oh, feels so good. Alright, we got that, and I'm gonna throw down some plus eggs on this later. I have to figure it out because if you look here, I have these ones with 36 and I have to calculate it properly, but this is as far as I'm gonna go for this video. Actually, we'll make a sample team. This is kind of my sample team here. So it'll be the new Ra dragon plus the Chocobo because I don't have a Dark Kali. So the Chocobo, the fat Chocobo, which we get for free, is kind of like the next best thing because we get Fire, Water, Wood, Light, Dark, and Heal orbs. We guarantee ourselves 144 multiplier, which is great. And then at that point, I'm gonna put Dark Kali in here. That one, and I need to cover some elements. Isis is a great one. And for the final slot, it could be anybody. It really could be a really popular one for especially the Ultimate Arena dungeon would be a Ra. Or not a Ra, but Indra. I think that's his name. Where is that guy? Here he is. This is the sample team. Holy Thunder Dragon Indra, yep. And with this, I hopefully can clear the Ultimate Arena consistently. I mean, there's no continue, so you have to do it right the first time, and hopefully I can get that video to you out in the next few episodes. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this Ra analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It certainly took a lot of work for me. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I've been up all night trying to put this thing together, but I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, playing some Puzzle and Dragons, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.